Hello and welcome to the part 74 of the Arduboy dev stream. And today we will continue to do some optimization. I will show you some optimization I've done outside of the video. And also we will try to fix the arrow launcher in the editor and in the engine. The position is not right. Is not correct. The editor is not reloading the sensor distance also. So we have a couple of issues with that and then fix the last level. But first I will show you some optimization I've done and explain you because that can be tricky. Every time you optimize, there's a risk. You are trying to push the machine to the limit. So anyway, okay, so I have changed the signature of the signature of here of the draw bitmap extended. So I remove the int and change it to a char, like 16-bit to 8-bit. And okay, because again the Arduboy is a 8-bit processor. Okay, the main processor is a 8-bit processor, so every time you want to use a 16-bit, that means the compiler has to generate more instruction to handle the 16-bit. But if you only work with 8-bit numbers, then the addition, the subtraction, etc. can only be done with one instruction. So it's generate less code. So of course we want to use 8-bit as much as possible and only use 16-bit when we need it, of course. Here, the draw bitmap extended, we give the X and Y position, and obviously the position should be on screen, right? So, and the screen is 128 pixels on 64. So the coordinate on screen can fit in 8-bit. But let's see how the function was. So yeah, we changed the signature. Okay, and first here we were checking if the coordinate are on screen or outside of the screen. Okay, so I keep, what is important is I don't use unsigned char. I keep my char sign, and which means, so I will draw some stuff here, which means let's see, I draw, for example, I draw the screen like this. Okay, that's the screen coordinate, and that means here is 0, and here is the 127 pixel, and here we should have minus 127 pixels, right? And vertically, so we have 64, which means we also can go very far to 127, which is outside of the screen. And here we have minus 127. So the thing is, if I draw a bitmap, for example, which is located here, so the X coordinate is still on screen, but maybe not the full sprite is on screen. And if I draw another one here, sprite here, just here. So this will be outside of the screen, but if we store the coordinate on a char, it cannot be 128. It will reboot. So basically this will become minus 127. Right, so it can never be 128 if I keep a sign coordinate for the x, but it will be here, but here is still outside of the screen. And obviously our sprite is not very wide. I mean, it cannot be wider. Well, in our game at least, we don't have a sprite which is wider than the screen, which is like 255 pixels wide. Or wider sprite is, I don't know, 10, 13 pixels wide. I don't know, forgot. 16 maybe. So that's fine. We don't care if that reboot here. All right, so basically we can check that the x plus the width, if it's less than 0, it's outside of the screen. That means this is our case. If our x plus the width is outside of the screen, and so that's the width, and here and here we have our x coordinate. If x plus the width is less than 0, it's outside. Otherwise, if it's inside, it's partially inside. It can be partially inside. Same for the y plus h, or if the y is greater than the height. But I commented this test here because it's no longer possible. So the x cannot be greater than width minus 1. Width minus 1 is 127. The width is 128. The screen is 128. So x can never be greater than 127 because now x is a signed char. So it's useless to test this. But like I just explained, if our x is greater than that, the number will reboot and it will become negative, which means this part of the test will catch the fact that the sprite is outside of the screen. And then we return 0. Okay. Next change is the row, S row, which I changed to char now because y is also a char, so it can use a char. It's the row of, it's the sprite row, it's the screen row, S for screen. Those variables are very bad. Yeah, anyway, so it can be a char. Start x and end x can also be a char. And here I changed the test again to avoid rebooting the numbers. So before we were checking that x plus the width is not greater than the end of the screen, and if it's the case, then I just clamp it, so it's the RAID case. Okay, we were in the RAID case. If the, let me move it here. Oops, sorry. So if x plus the width is greater than the width minus 1, which is a 127, then just a second, sorry. So if the x plus the width is after 127, after the limit of the screen, then we only take the difference. We take width minus x, which means we would just want to draw this part, not the rest. So the end x is shorter. I changed the test to do the same, but this time I can do it on a char. So basically now what I do is I take the width 128 minus the x, remove the x, and now I'm checking that this is, if it's less than the width, like for example, if you are 120, if x is 120, this means 127 minus 120, it's 7. 7 is less than the width of the sprite, which is, for example, 20. So it's the same, but by doing the minus, I stay inside the char range of value. So the test doesn't overflow itself. And then I just do the same. Otherwise, we take the width, as usual. Here, change to char, B row also. A was a char. Because S row, now S row is a char, so B row can also be a char. So here also you have just an addition of char with another char, much faster. I call also can be a char because now start x and x is a char. X call also can be a char because it start from start x, go to end x. And the current x, this is a char, this is another char, also can be a char. Alright, we still have one hint here, which cannot be changed. It's the buffer position. This one is way bigger than 255. So this one cannot change. And also these two cannot change. The B row time width, the width is 126. If your row is like maybe 3, 4, 5, you already exceed 255. So this 2 has to stay into int. Yeah, but the rest changed to char. All right, so what else I'll change in that? Well, I just changed also this to char because I give it to, but I will come back to that. So that's what I will do, what we will do today. Today I want to check if we can, and probably we can, change the return value of get x on screen and get y on screen, which currently is an int. And we can probably change it to char because x and y on screen could stay on screen, but there is some reason why it's an x, but because of what I've just explained to you, we can have the same reasoning for these two functions. And I've done some other little change, which is not really optimization. It's just changing the first screen. Finally I decided to center the screen, the title, center Rick Ardo's title on screen, and I decided to add the main character also on screen. Just draw the main character. Move this here, but I think that doesn't change much. So that of course wastes a little bit of, but very few bytes, like I don't know, like 10, 20, I forgot. And I just delete some dead code, and the readme. What did I change in the readme? Yeah, that's probably one variable that could be exported by the editor. So I leave it here because we can do that very late. Okay, and so now you may expect, so how many bytes did I succeed to save by this change? in mainly the change in this function, changing the x and y of the draw bitmap. Well, I think now we are at 27 for 18, and the last time we were at if I take my paper, I think it was 27 710, so minus 27 for 18, 292 bytes. 292, almost 300 bytes, just by changing this. But remember, the draw bitmap extended, this function is called in many places, of course. It's the draw function, so we call it a lot. So I'm not that surprised that we save quite a lot of program of byte. So I was quite happy to be able to do that change, and I've tested the game. It seems that everything is drawing correctly. We may see some artifact later on, but I hope not. I think by reading again this function, I think it's pretty safe. With the little change I've done, I think it should be okay. It should continue to work normally. All right, and today, like I said, I would like also to work on these two functions. So before moving to the editor. So these two functions return an int for the x and y on screen, and there was a reason for that. It was for the function is on screen. Is on screen. So you give a world x and world y. By the way, we could probably rename this like x world, yeah, and y world, just to make it more clear. X world and y world. And then after, from x on screen, I wanted to test this to know if it's on screen or not. If I return a char here, I may have the same problem like for the width, not for the height. The height is 64 pixels, so even if you add few pixels after 64, you can still stay inside 127. But for the width, if we add some pixels, we may be too far. But the thing is, I think we can use the same logic. Like if the number reboots, then it becomes negative, and then the first test will catch it. So I think I want to do the same test as in the draw bitmap extended, which means remove that test and change it to char. So if x on screen plus the width greater or equal to 0, and by the way, it was it greater or equal? That makes me think about that. Custom Arduboy. Yeah, the test was reversed. Okay, so that's correct. And so yeah, if it's equal, if it's if we are too much on the right of the screen, we will have a negative x on screen, and then yeah, we are not on screen. So I think for that function it is safe to change it to char, and sprite is unsigned. That's okay. So we have char, this is char, and yeah, and then So here, how to change that to char. So again, I don't want to return unsigned. I want to keep it signed. The world x, world y, of course, is int. But here, so here we need to do some computation into int. But this is a char, so this can be added as char. Okay, so, or we can write x int yeah. I don't know if we should cast it into char here. We can try to compile and see if there is any difference. Alright, so let's change it to the map manager and see, we can see if we save some, if that does something or not. X world and Y world. Okay, just want to also see where this one is called. So draw bullet, draw fast line. This one was already changed to char. Okay. So here, search for pixel along bullet array. We can change it to char. And here also. This is already a char. So I guess this one should stay int because it seems to be a world coordinate. This can be a char. And we already have changed this one to char. We are in the arrow bullet, okay. And this one, draw bitmap extended, already given a char. Okay, arrow launcher, draw bitmap extended. This one, char for the block fragment. And then it's used here and here. So the boulder, already changed the boulder, the previous commit. Directly call in the function. So here we are in destroyable item. We can change this one also. Get Y on screen. This here. This is draw bitmap extended. This one. Enemy draw. So we return an int, which is the collision. These are the function. Okay, it's on screen. We change it. Okay, and this is is there any horizontal collision at? So same logic, left on screen. So this test cannot happen. This one is never true. This and either static collision x. Okay. Left on screen. Get left coordinate to check if it is outside the screen. In that case, check the sprite, and if you find a collision, stop here. Otherwise, continue to check. So if this one is negative, yeah, and static collision, okay. Then you have right on screen. So right coordinate, and then we will do the same test. See the right coordinate, right world. So again, this one, if it's outside to the right, the get X on screen will give a negative value. So this test will be true. And no collision found. So this test is always true. So far, at least it's partially totally on screen. If no collision so far. Okay, so this one starts to be a bit tricky, and that's why I use int before, I guess. I will come back to this function later. Let's continue. Okay. X on screen, Y on screen. So that's the header file. Already changed, and unsigned char. Okay. No, this one is not unsigned. Probably before this function was written with a char, or probably unsigned char, and then later I changed to int, probably due to this this function here, the static collision at. But we'll come back to see if we can do something about that. Okay. Get X on screen, and okay, that's my readme. This is what I wanted to probably yeah, optimize. Rick char. I just want to change that, compile, see if we save memory or not. If we save a lot, then maybe we have to walk out the other function, checking the collision. This is the spike. Okay. Probably not extended, and this is not unsigned in the stalagmite. and this one also not unsigned. Okay, let's search further. I think we forgot some of the Y now. So that's okay. This char. Okay. 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 Char. Char. Okay. Okay. Char. Draw bitmap. Draw. Char. Okay, definition, char. Okay, this one. Should be char. Definition, char. Readme. Fit on screen, so this plus 12, yeah, this can be a char, no problem. Char. Char. Okay, draw bitmap. Draw bitmap. Char. And char. Okay, so let's compile. So we are at, where's my pen? 27,418. Let's compile. 27,340. It's like 100, around 100. Oh, I have a pen, but I need to. Sharpen it. 340. That's around, no, less than 100 bytes, but sorry, I'm sharpening my pen. It's not a lot, not enough. Okay. 27,340. So let's make the difference. 27,340 minus 27,418. 78 bytes. Not bad. I think we should take it. So let's see this problematic function in the map manager. Yeah, this function. So I think we probably don't have problem with the Y, but we may have problem with the X. So Y on screen. Check if the Y coordinate is out of the screen. If yes, ask the map manager if there's a sprite below the screen. So if Y on screen is less than 0 or Y on screen greater than height. And that's okay because 64, so we have enough space, blah blah blah. Okay, no problem. And here check white pixels, Y on screen. I think this one is already this function already char. Check white pixel, yeah, it's char. Okay, so Y is not a problem. Let's check about X on screen. So we have left and right on screen. So left on screen, we have this. So if it's less than 0 and static collision. So yeah, because the number reboot, that is okay, even if we are on the other side. So return true. The same for the right. That's okay. And now about these two. No collision found so far. At least it is partially or totally on screen. Yeah, I agree. So this one is always true. No, so left on screen, so it's partially on the right of the screen, or partially. But why I need this test, by the way? Why I need this test? Because we already test if we are outside of the screen. If left on screen is X world. Yes, I agree. This one is testing if it's on screen. This one is testing that I'm a bit confused about these two tests. If left on screen, so this is possible with. Okay, so that's a problem, because if the number reboots, this test will be true. So I think I should do the same kind of test, like to diminish the width, the same kind of test as the one I have done in the draw function, which means doing this one. So let's start with this test. Width minus x less than w. Minus with minus less than width So if width minus left on screen is less than my width, then my width will be big capital letter width minus x. I think I can, yeah, I can just write this minus left on screen. So basically I just want to clamp it, okay? So if 228 minus left is less than the width of the check test I want to do, then the new width of the check test is 228 minus left, which is just the remaining. That's okay. And yeah, I think and probably this is not needed, but we'll double check. And now the opposite, but I think this time I should add a health because the number can reboot. So if the left on screen is less than 0, but this time we know that it's not less than 0 because the number have rebooted. Overflow is the correct term actually, not reboot, but I like reboot. Sorry, it's overflow. Well, I will say overflow. Overflowed. What is the participle tense of overflow? Overflown? Overflow. I'm sorry. Can tell me in comment if you want. Okay, so the first test we check that we are not we are not going. The test is not too much on the right of the screen. If it's not, we are now checking if it's not outside of the screen but from the left screen, and it's negative, but we know it's not overflown. So then we reset the left on screen and the width is clamped by this. It seems okay. And so now why I needed this numbers, this test here, otherwise I return false, no collision found. So I'm checking here again. If we are outside of the screen, okay, yeah, here maybe we also have an issue, because if the X world is on the right of the screen, then it will become negative, but we will will become negative, and we will check with the X world, which is fine if it's on, if the world is on the right. I think it's fine, even the left on screen overflowed. Okay, and then right if it's overflowed. Or so this test is true no matter what, if you are outside on the screen from the left or from the right. And then we're checking it. Okay, it's if the start is outside. If the star is outside, we check the static collision. If the right world is this plus the width, okay. And if the right is also outside, we are checking the collision also for the right world. So basically, and if there is collision outside, okay, we return true. The function is checking if there is collision. If there is no collision, in the case, even if we are outside of the screen but no collision, we will reach this. And this is where I clamp the two value and check it, and check the pixels on screen with the clamp value. I know that left on screen, Y on screen, and width are on screen. Not sure about Y on screen, but yeah, Y on screen can be outside of the screen, but I think this function will catch it. Y, no, this function will not catch it. Can be really outside, but okay, never mind. But maybe the people calling this never call it with a Y on screen, which is not on screen. I'm not sure, but anyway. Okay, so this is safe. We clamp the value and we check it here. So why I had this test? This test was checking that my left was on screen or my right was on screen, which means I was partially on screen. But I feel these tests are the same as this test actually, because this test is checking that I'm partially on screen. So yeah, I really think I don't need this test. Ah, I know. Yeah, the behavior of this function is quite tricky. Let's say I was partially, the left was outside of the screen, on the left of the screen, but there is no collision. Then this one continue here. There was no collision, and then this one was no, also false. So it was not checking this, and it was just returning false. So there was no collision detected outside of the screen, but I still return false. So yeah, I don't think it's correct. I should check it. Or if I want, yeah, because here it was saying no, there is no collision, but maybe there is, even if it's partially on screen. So I think this test was not correct. All right, let's do that, and let's do that. Let's compare. Twenty-seven 392. which means few more byte gain. 27, 300, 392. So 2019 in total, from the beginning, 392. It's more. Before it was 340 and now it's 392. I am a bit confused why it's more. What did I change? I changed this. I just want to, I will copy it. Copy. Let's redo. I just want to recompile again. $27,340. Yeah. And if I do this, $27,392. It's more. There's more code, but I think it's correct. It's more correct. So basically, that means we just saved 26 bytes from before. What a disappointment. Let's try the game to see if we break something. It's strange because for me that's really last code here. So it should be less. Is the camera dead? Yep. Let me fix the camera. So the so I was checking if there is collision here. Oh, we lost the enemies. Why is that? We lost All the enemies. We lost everything. Oh, that's really not good. Let's make a diff. Let's make a diff. So char block fragment char destroyable items char. This function seems to work because I succeed to destroy the block fragment and mid row. So this become char, this become char. Just rename the variable here. And this is our bigger test. Probably this test is necessary. It's partially or totally on screen. Yeah, if left is okay, if left is totally on the right, okay, now I get it. Or right is totally on the left of the screen. Ah, it's an and, it's not an or. Yeah, if yeah, you need to have the left at least, yeah, I understand now. So this test seems to be useful. And the right, yeah, okay. Let's check the other one. Sure. Pickup item. Char. Rick. Char. Spike. Char. And stalagmite. Char. Okay. Okay, so how to check that we are at least on screen or partially on screen? That means the left should be greater than 0. Not necessary. It's the left plus is the left plus the width that should be greater than 0, and the right that should be greater than 0. Oh, that's the right actually. Left plus width is the right. Right on screen. So the right should be greater than 0, and the left, so that means only this is necessary. Because if the left is too much on the right of the screen, it will have reboot with the width, and it's not good. So yeah, it's probably this. Let's try that. Let's compile. Uh, 27,376. It is less. I don't know why. Let's test it. Did we get our enemy back? Yes, we get our enemy back. Good news. Okay, here also we get our enemy back. And here, so here the level is broken. All right, so yeah, this test is necessary. Because yeah, you can have some enemies really outside of the screen. So yeah, you want to check left plus the width that is inside the screen. So that's right on screen greater or equal than 0. And if it's on the right of the screen, the number will have rebooted, and then the left plus the width will be, the right will be also negative. So Okay, let's commit this and then we will move on to the editor to finish the stream. And so we have, so again to compile, we have saved 27,376. So 376 minus minus 3 minus 418. Okay, we saved 42 bytes, which is a bit less than what we started with, but yeah, it's still 42 bytes. Okay, let's commit. So change the get X on screen and get Y on screen to return a char. And by the way, we can change the readme because we have done this. That's optimization. All right, so now let's see the issue with the stalagmite. Probably first I need, so I can launch the game. If I open the level, you can see that we lost all the sensor distance here. So I think I just didn't reload it, so let's check. So it's not util, I guess it's in the read, reload, read level data, read item init, I think it's this one. And init int value, oh, that's the correct coordinate. So let's check the map data for the arrow launcher. Here, so it's 1 2 3 and then 80 is the distance. So I'm writing the distance correctly, but I'm not reloading it correctly. So in value, get instance type from name is mirror point. Item type is mirror location. So probably add item needs to get an optional parameter. Oh, new item type. Yeah, item type. And this is the new item. How about our launcher? I think I should already have this this parameter somewhere. Yeah, arrow launcher distance here. Okay. So it's the constructor of the item. Sorry, I should show you that. Yeah, it's here. So we need to, well, we can create another constructor, maybe not. Yeah, just add a parameter, I think. Additional parameter, and we can just set it here, because only the arrow launcher has an additional parameter. So later on, if we have a different item, but the game engine is finished, so I think that won't happen. And here then we should give it, so here again, int additional parameter, and this one, so we can probably give a default value for that, or maybe, yeah. So this is the loading, this is Rick. Well, let's not give a yeah, actually I can give a default parameters. Let's give 80 as default parameters here and here. So okay, so here we have, if we are clicking the item, adding the item, the arrow launcher on the map, then it will be added with the default length value. In here, what is important is the reload. So we need to give arrow launcher distance. Okay, so here is when I pass the token. int value index. Okay. Oh, I have 3. Probably I need 4. That's property flag, so okay. Instance special is mirror. No, value 1, 0, 1. Oh, actually I don't need this one. I should just give in value the 2. I prepared the code, but I didn't finish the implementation. So when we load, we will get, and then 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I increase the index, store it here. Okay. That should work. So I will reload the file, fix the length again. So this one. Hello. I need to select it, sorry. Put it here. This one. Put it here. This one here. And this one here. Okay, I save it. Save. So normally it's correctly saved. Yeah, we have the correct number. And then I will reload, open the file, and okay, we get it. We have the correct number. All right, that's cool. So let's commit this. That was an easy fix. Bug fix, reload the arrow launcher at distance in the editor. So that's the new values. Okay, so I set the value here and in the constructor. And here I give it the third value that I read. And here I give it also. All right. All right, so I think the problem was the position was not correct in the game. Let's move. Let's move the spawn point to here. And let's try again. Did I save? Not sure. Save and compile. Okay, camera is dead. So it's too high. And even the X is not correct, for example. So the X is here is not correct, but this one is mirror, so maybe there's a bug on the mirror. And even it's too high. This one should be on touching the stone. So there is, yeah, really two different kind of bugs. The sensor is fixed. Okay, and then, yeah. And by the way, this is probably not possible to reach the statuette, so we probably have to redo also this part, but that's level design. Okay, what happened to the coordinate of the arrow launcher? Let's check the draw. So just start X, start Y, okay. Draw lethal, draw static collision, draw X. X minus 3, X minus 1. It seems to me it's a kind of old code. So I think we should, yeah, if it's mirror, then it's mirror, then I move 3x. We don't need to do that anymore, I think, because the editor is the statuette, the head, the arrow launcher head is now just a normal item. So and that's an X that's an int, by the way. So I think it should just be X. And Y minus 6, no, just draw it at Y. Okay. But because I check trigger. When I shoot arrows, at what position I shoot the arrow? Trigger X, trigger Y. X minus detection width plus detection width. Get X, get Y. So I check at my position. So probably that's why I wanted to draw a bit higher. But in the editor, I don't draw it higher. So there is a discrepancy between the editor and the game engine. I think either I put back the code, the drawing shift in the editor, or but that's a bit troublesome in the editor, I think. or I fix here the launch and the triggering. Let me, yeah, I saved that. Let's try again. I think if we launch like this, it will be correctly placed, but not shooting at the correct position. That's probably what will happen. Yeah, so they are correctly placed, but I guess they don't shoot. They don't shoot at the correct position. Okay. Let's see if we try to fix the shooting position. So it was -6. Let me undo it. Yeah, -6 on Y, and it's -3 or -1 on X. So that's the init. That's the callback. Can launch a row. Okay, and that's the respawn. Okay, and check trigger. Okay, so maybe this is where I can add +6, and so it should be +3 or +1. If it's shooting toward left, it's +3. Which I already check here. So maybe I should move this here. Check trigger callback. Yep. By the way, why I need to give the X and Y in the triggerer. The trigger, that's the trigger. Yeah, that's the trigger. That's not me. Yep. So min X max X. So this one should be, if shooting to our left, +3, I think. Detection width. What is the, yes, it's 80. So but if it's toward left, where is +3? No, I don't think so. As if it's not shooting to the left, it should be +3. Plus actually the width of the sprite. So let's get this value. Where's the arrow launcher face sprite width? It's 4. Because there's the mouth of the arrow launcher. And yeah. Could be if this one is let's check. So I don't know exactly if I need to remove the width here or here on the left or on the right. Okay, let's ignore it for now. And okay, and the Y should be we should add it. So int arrow y plus 6. It's not the arrow, it's the sensor, the triggerer. No, not the trigger Y. Compute my triggering Y. Yeah, but trigger and triggerer is a confusing. Throwing Y. Is alive, throwing Y, and throwing Y in X, max X, fire, X throwing Y. Okay. Let's try. Oh, now we are okay. Yeah. So let's try. We have only 27,000 bytes, but I moved the starting point to the last screen, so it totally remove a lot of program. All right, so what about this? Oh. Yeah. It's not throwing in the right direction. Why are you throwing to the... Ah. Ah. I stand up at the right moment. Can I escape the second one? No, it's impossible. All right, so bad level design here, but why? What about this one? No, they're all throwing in the wrong direction. It's funny because I don't think I change anything. Property set mirror. Yeah, maybe it's not, it's colliding with itself. Okay. Let me check the map data. I think it's correct. Non-mirror, non-mirror. Okay. So is shooting toward left, it's okay. Otherwise this min x should be x plus 4 should be okay. Maybe not. It's the length of the arrow actually. Let me check the length of the arrow. Arrow bullet. Bullet speed, bullet width, arrow speed, arrow width. It's 8. Okay. That's why it's not enough. This one should be public then. I just want to check the fire. But as the X of the bullet, yeah, it should be +4. No, it's just moving in the wrong direction. It seems. Fire. Or the throwing Y is not correct. It seems too high. Yeah, it seems too high. Let's do 7. Or just need +1. No, it's not correct. Okay. I think that's 6, but that's probably I need X. Get confused. I really get confused. Max height, max X. It's okay. Oh no, it's here. It's the fire here, which is not correct. It's the fire X, which is not correct. So it should be at min x. But what if I throw and I think +1 should be enough. Yeah. +1 is enough. And that's why I got +3 in the other direction. So, but that's tricky. It's like, nope. Min x. Yeah, here. So okay. I need another variable then, because it depends if it's left or right. Yeah, I understand why it was tricky. Why I just decided to move the drawing. Throwing. Throwing x. Throwing x will be x minus 8, and here will be x plus 1. Okay, let's try. Sorry, so what I change is this, adding a throwing x variable. Should be minus 8 and plus 1. Yeah, this time it works. So can I pass the level? It's really hard to react. Almost impossible to react. Okay, this level design is not good, but we fixed the position issue from the editor and the engine, and I guess fixed the throwing logic. So let's commit this, and I think what time is it? Yeah, we will stop here. So, let's remove this. We can move this flag also. Okay, so oh. Okay, so we change that, and then we have our string variable. Good change. This is our map data. Yeah, because I moved the spawn point and change this. Okay, so backfix, fix the position difference between the engine and the editor for the arrow launcher. Okay, all right, thanks for watching. I think that's it for now, and I think next video we will modify this level to make it playable, because right now it's not playable. So thank you and bye bye, see you next time.